you survive? Hearing the whispers from beyond. It started as a faint hum, barely noticeable, like the buzz of an old radio left on low volume. Emma first heard it late one night while studying in her tiny apartment. She dismissed it as her overactive imagination, fueled by too much coffee and too many deadlines. But the whispers persisted. The next evening, as she sat at her desk, the hum returned, clearer this time. It was no longer just a sound. It was voices, muffled and distant, yet oddly intimate, as though someone were speaking just behind her. She spun around, her heart pounding, but the room was empty. Determined to prove she wasn't losing her mind, Emma began recording the phenomenon. She placed her phone on the desk, hit record, and waited. When the whispers began again, she froze. This time, they weren't muffled. They were distinct, fragmented sentences in a language she couldn't understand. Her phone captured it all. Listening to the playback later sent chills down her spine. The whispers were louder, layered, and suffocating. They seemed to grow angrier the more she listened. One phrase repeated over and over. "You shouldn't hear us," Emma confided in her friend Lucas, a skeptic but a tech enthusiast. "Probably interference," he said, examining the audio. "Or maybe a prank. But I'll look into it." He ran the file through a spectrum analyzer, expecting to find static or overlapping signals. Instead, he found something else. The whispers formed patterns, visual shapes in the sound waves that resembled symbols. They weren't random. They were deliberate. Lucas, rattled but curious, spent the next few days researching. What he uncovered sent him straight back to Emma's apartment. "These symbols," he said, his voice shaky, "are ancient. They're from a ritual language used to communicate with the dead." Emma laughed nervously. "Communicate? You're joking, right?" "I wish I was," Lucas replied. "You need to stop listening to those whispers. They're not meant for the living." But the whispers had already seeped into Emma's mind, their strange cadence haunting her even in silence. She couldn't stop herself from listening, from trying to decipher their meaning. Each time she played the recordings, they grew clearer, more demanding. One night, Emma woke to find her phone on her chest, a recording already playing. The whispers were no longer in fragments. They were speaking directly to her. "You hear us. Now, you must come." The air in the room grew heavy, and shadows seemed to ripple on the walls. Emma grabbed her phone, intending to smash it, but froze when the screen flickered to life on its own. A video played, showing her own apartment, but it wasn't her holding the camera. The perspective moved through the room, stopping just behind her. In the video, she was asleep, unaware as shadowy figures loomed over her. Panicking, Emma threw the phone across the room. The whispers erupted, deafening now, filling the apartment with their chilling chorus. She stumbled into the hallway, desperate to escape, but the whispers followed her, growing louder and louder. She fled into the street, screaming for help, but no one seemed to notice her. The world felt distorted, like a dream she couldn't wake from. The last thing she remembered before everything went black was the sound of her own voice whispering, "You shouldn't hear us." When Lucas arrived the next morning, the apartment was empty. Emma's phone lay shattered on the floor, the last recording still intact. He pressed play, hearing the whispers one final time. "She's with us now. Will you be next?" Lucas dropped the phone and ran, but the whispers followed him, faint and persistent, whispering his name. Can you survive hearing the whispers from beyond? Emma couldn't. The question is, will you?